Well, I am delighted to be here with Cheryl Balaban and Joel Epstein, who have been instrumental in growing the pickleball program here in Wilmette, which as of probably 3 or 4 years ago was not even in existence. And as many know, pickleball is one of the fastest growing sports. So we are so fortunate now to have a pickleball program. And I'd love to hear from you guys how you came about kind of helping spearhead the program here in Wilmette.
Well, I moved back to Wilmette. I grew up in Wilmette. I moved back here in 2017 to live with this beautiful and lovely lady who at the time was the co-president of the Wilmette Women's Tennis Association. She encouraged me because I was playing pickleball. I started 7 years ago in every community but Wilmette where we live. And so we ended up going to Park District meetings, numerous Park District meetings, contacting the village board and the village manager, discussing with them getting pickleball courts. And they were really receptive, open to the idea, knew that it was a popular sport and growing in popularity. So we sit on the courts here at the CRC, the Community Rec Center, behind the Community Rec Center. These were our temporary courts, but they were gracious enough to afford us these courts while permanent courts are being built over at the community play field next to Locust Junior High. Should be done in the fall of 2023.
One problem that we encountered when we initially went to the Park District was that everyone seemed to agree that pickleball was a new fast-growing sport, but maybe there just wasn't interest here or a need for it, and certainly tennis is a very big program here. And so there was some pushback as to whether or not it was really even necessary, especially because there are courts in every community surrounding Wilmette. So we started on Facebook the Wilmette Pickleball Association just to give leverage to the argument. After a year or so? What are we up to?
Well, we have just about 600 members.
But only in existence, because I remember seeing that on Facebook, because my husband was like, hey, did you see this? And I'm like, wow, pickleball here in Wilmette, because like you said, it was non-existent just a few years ago. Really, these courts that we are on were just lined, how long ago? It wasn't, we're not talking that.
No,
right?
In the spring,
Late
spring they lined them. It was surprising because they said they're going to line it, these tennis courts for pickleball. We're going to give you 4 courts. We got here, there were 6 pickleball courts.
Which is amazing, right? So these were 2 tennis courts that nobody ever used. Well, rarely. And then they turned them into 6 pickleball courts, which is really, quite like they have these adjustable nets or whatever that you can play on. So very cool. So let me ask you, why do you think that pickleball has just grown in popularity? What is it that is such a draw, would you say?
I can give an example. We were on vacation with my larger family, and pickleball is a sport that anybody can pick up. You don't have to learn to play pickleball, you just have to get up there and try it. And my 89-year-old father was standing across the court from my 4-year-old grandson playing together. So literally anybody can pick up the sport.
Which is so amazing. And I think people always associate pickleball with, I shouldn't say octogenarians, but older, baby boomers, and the interesting thing is I just saw a statistic that it's actually the 18 to 34-year-old group as far as demographics that it's growing even the most in terms of people taking it up, which I found fascinating. Yeah,
that's true. And we look at it in Wilmette a little differently than other communities. We vision this as a sport like Cheryl described. Grandparents with their grandkids, families coming out here. We have excellent pickleball players in Wilmette that play on our courts, and there's time and place for everybody. But we don't want to make this into a semi-professional sport here in Wilmette. We want this to be nurtured as a family game for the entire community to participate in. And one of the great things about it is that it's co-ed, gender friendly. You get on the court with people of all ages, genders, races, ethnicities, and everybody becomes a friend to each other on the pickleball court. There's a lot of laughing that goes on. There's probably more laughing in pickleball than any other sport I've been involved with.
A funny thing is that in Wilmette we're almost training pickleball because it's taught in PE classes at the junior high
That is so, I didn't know that.
for a decade.
That is so funny. I still remember the first time I saw pickleball, and we're talking like it was 2016, 2017 in Arizona, right, at a retirement community. And again, it's amazing how it's just taken off. So, so how does somebody then get, if they're interested in kind of getting involved in the pickleball program, what do they do? Where do they go? You said a Facebook page, yeah.
Yeah, we have a Facebook page. You can come and ask questions to us about. We'll steer you in the right direction. People are doing that now, asking us where they can learn to play. You can learn to play in Wilmette. The Park District offers classes, both indoor and outdoor. Also in our surrounding communities, particularly in Skokie and in Northwick, they've really defined excellent long-term running beginning pickleball classes.
Which is, yeah, what you
I wanted to give kudos to the Park District at large, but also Centennial tennis staff, because instrumental in making that happen in indoor tennis, and also agreeing to turn 2 tennis courts at the community playfields at Locust into pickleball required the cooperation of the tennis community from the top down. And they really got behind us and provided the nets, and it's been a learning process for them as well. And in the fall, they may be offering once again open pickle on Friday nights for beginners, intermediate.
Over at Centennial, as far as in the indoor courts, which will be nice. Yeah,
they have a drop-in pickleball program.
Okay. So do they have are the courts lined then? Do they have them, or they
Temporary
lined? Okay. Very good. Well, this was so helpful. I mean, we are so fortunate that you guys have really, again, been such big proponents and advocated for this program that we all as a community are able to enjoy. So thank you so much, and so appreciate your time today.